Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching Healthy Alternative. Today, I want to talk about the benefits of Michael, and today we're going to be talking about...
Today we'll be making one of my favorite soups.
Welcome to the
Tomato
JR72 Challenge.
I am Animated Mel, and I am your mental and wellness coach for
As always, perfection is not needed, but consistency
We must
is
first
must.
lovingly accept what is. You can't heal a body you hate.
From you, what your experience has been like in the challenge, and maybe what have you seen so far?
Well, I see a lot of people signed up, which is wonderful because the R72 method is it's game changing. It's a lot easier mentally to carry through, and I see a lot of people, they're nervous, they're excited and all the things. And, I try to tell them, just be consistent, just give yourself some grace because as long as you're consistent, you will lose the weight. You really will, but try to follow the food that you put in the gut because it does make a difference as far as weight loss and everything like that. But there's so many benefits to it. You lose inches, you lose weight. For me, my joint don't hurt. It's just so many benefits of the R72 fasting.
Yeah, benefits, man.
Hey.
Whoa, we got 100 people in here. Where'd y'all come from?
Hey, they here waiting.
Yeah, they was in the chat just trying to figure out what time we was going live. I don't know where the confusion came in, but I guess some people were saying 8 o'clock, some people were saying 6 o'clock, some were saying 7.
No, we are 7 p.m. Central, which is 8 o'clock Eastern.
And then on the Pacific, what is that, like 5 o'clock or something?
5 o'clock.
So maybe that's where all the confusion came. But hey, we're here, and I am excited to be with you all tonight because the R72 Weight Loss Challenge is back. And I've been doing a series of videos recently. I did a live stream, maybe it was like Saturday, so almost a week ago, talking about where we are in the year as far as this is we're coming into the last quarter of the year, okay? If you had goals for 2024, this is essentially the final opportunity to really lock in and accomplish your goals. And what we're looking to do by scheduling our R72 challenge at this very specific time is to help to motivate you all, create a platform for you to accelerate any type of goals you have in mind as it relates to health and wellness going into 2025. It's very important that if you have the idea in your head, you got like some goals that you want to accomplish in 2025, it's very important that you take momentum from 2024 to help thrust you into 2025. If it's the end of 2024 and you had goals for 2024 and you have not hit those goals or you're not even close, think back. Did you take momentum from 2023 to propel you into 2024? If you didn't create that momentum, that might be a very big reason why you don't have the goals that you have set out for this year. And this is the perfect time to start doing reflection. A lot of people try to wait until the end of the year. We're talking like, maybe like Christmas time, you're around family, it's Christmas, you kind of get in a mood, you might start journaling, you're inside more. And by that time, it's too late. And when I say it's too late, what I'm saying is, you set a goal for 2024. There's no way that you should be waiting to the end of 2024 to review whether or not you hit that goal. You should have had checkpoints along the way, and your final checkpoint is the fourth quarter. That's the final checkpoint. You've got 80 days or whatever the case may be before the end of the year. This is the time when we can look at our goals. We can look at what we've accomplished, what we've done well, what we have not done so well. What have we learned from our quote unquote failures? Apply that knowledge and really lock in over the next 2.5, 3 months so that we can end the year strong and then take that energy into 2025. So that's the reason why we scheduled our challenge at this very specific time. It was not arbitrary. We don't do anything arbitrary. Everything is well thought out and well planned with you all in mind. And I'll take it another step further. in the time between, let's say the beginning of October and really the beginning of January, we are going to be hit with more sugar, more processed foods. We're going to be inside more because in most areas, especially in the United States, it's cold. So that means you're inside more. Then, of course, you have the seasonal depression. So there's a mental weight. And the seasonal depression is not just for people who don't have friends and family to celebrate holidays with. It also comes from those of us who are trying to overextend ourselves financially in order to keep up this appearance, the holiday spirit thing. And so we overexert ourselves mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically. Then what we see is an incline of cold and flu at the same time. And we wonder why. And then the mainstream media says, oh, it's because it's cold outside. When we all know that germs slow down in the cold. That's the reason you put your food in a refrigerator. Because it slows down the activity of germs and breaking down food. So it makes no sense that at the coldest time of the year, we're the sickest, the cold and flu season, when really germs should be slower, right? When you go into a hospital, it's 60 degrees. Why? Because germs move slower in the cold. Okay? So it doesn't make any sense that during this time we're sick, we're gaining weight, unless, of course, someone is pulling the wool over our eyes. So the point of us starting this challenge now, with what amount of time we have left, is so that AHA can help you shine a light on what's really happening. This particular time of year is designed to destroy you. It is designed to tear you down. When you have all of the great energy and opportunity going into the new year, right? There's a tremendous amount of positive energy going into the new year. They don't want you taking advantage of that. They don't want you to be successful. And when I say they, who am I talking about? I'm talking about the systems that govern our world. It's the governments and the systems and the agencies that are in place that have us literally under mind control. I mean, they literally tell you one thing and show you something completely different. We are lied to 24/7, and we're so indoctrinated that we don't even think for ourselves. We don't see how the amount of stress, right? The stress that's associated with the shopping and everything you have to do raises the cortisol levels. Then in addition to that, you get to spend time with people that you don't even like. Like, let's keep it a buck. There's a lot of people out here that don't really mess with their family. And it's not necessarily everybody in your family, but it's those certain family members. And some family members are literally out to get you, right? Like, they want to mess with you. They want to get under your skin. And so now we already have rise cortisol levels because of the financial burden. Then we got to worry about that auntie, that uncle, that grandma, that mother-in-law that we don't like. They don't like us. But for appearances, we got to go be around them. Then on top of that, now our immune system's already very fractured and weakened. Then on top of that, we're going to eat processed foods. And then we have holidays that are going to help to reinforce gluttony during a time when we are literally at our weakest. Okay. And I think, Stephen, you actually told me a statistic that during the last quarter of the year is when the average American gains the majority of their weight for the year. So it's like, bro, like, look at the big picture. Look at what's happening right now. This is literally an assault on us. And we call it the holiday season. And we have all the music, and we have the Christmas cookies and Santa Claus and Halloween. Oh my God, Halloween? It's literally a holiday about eating processed candy. Highly processed candy, right? We overindulge in candy, and we allow our children to partake in this. We allow them to eat tons of crappy food and candy during this time. And then to fix it all, we go and get a shot, right? The flu shot. The ever-evolving flu. The flu shot we take this year is for the flu last year, which makes absolutely no sense. Because every year, the flu mutates. And they tell us this makes sense. And because we don't actually take our health and wellness into our own hands, because we are really like backseat drivers in our wellness journey, we allow them to guide us wherever they want, tell us whatever they want, and we just go along with it. You know what I started doing, Steve? I started saying, I'm not going to this party. I don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't want to do Christmas. We could do a different holiday. We can come up with our own traditions, something that's going to be healthy, something that's going to empower us. And that's what I started doing with our family, our close-knit family. We started creating our own traditions. And one of the traditions that we do 3 months before the end of the year or the last quarter of the year, we begin looking at our timelines. We begin looking at the goals that we set for the year. And if we need to make adjustments in order to meet or exceed our goals, this is the time to do it. So that's one of the traditions that we created. Okay. One of the other traditions we created is through the AHA brand. And that's we always schedule a challenge right on top of the holidays. Now, most people from a marketing standpoint, they would think that was stupid. That was like, that's silly. That doesn't make sense, Chris. You're going to schedule a wellness challenge during the time of the year when people don't care about wellness. And I would say, no, that's the exact time when we need to do it. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to give Steven a chance to talk because I ain't even gave him a chance to talk. The reason why I schedule these challenges right on top of the holidays is because my goal is outcomes. Okay. My goal, if you guys come and join one of our challenges, this is not just, frivolously lose 30 pounds in 30 days. No, if you want to do this, if you want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, and if you want to gain some of the benefits of being in our challenge, you have to be locked in. You got to be serious. So when I schedule the challenges during holiday season, everybody who registers has a higher level of skin in the game because they know the challenge is going to run through one of their favorite holidays. And they've decided, in spite of the fact that the challenge is going to run through one of their favorite holidays, it only comes once a year, Chris, they're going to put their health and wellness first. You know why? Because if we continue to neglect our health and wellness by celebrating our favorite holidays and spending time with relatives we don't even want to be around and doing all these very toxic things, we're not going to be here for the next 5 holidays. At some point, we got to get off the ride, y'all. When your vehicle starts breaking down, you start losing cognitive function. You start losing ability to hold your bowels or hold your urine, and you have to wear diapers. You start losing all of your hair. You start forgetting where you put your keys. You're not able to run anymore. You bump your knee, and you got to get knee surgery or hip replacement. You injure yourself and you have wound healing problems. You start developing diabetes and losing limbs. All because we wanted to put this holiday in front of our own health and wellness. So I want people in this challenge who are going to be serious because we want outcomes. And when serious people join our challenges, not only do they get outcomes, but we also get tremendous feedback. It's going to help us curtail our challenges and our process and all the advice we give for people to get results quicker, more efficiently. And I got an interview coming out later on this month with a young lady who joined our group back in 2023 and in 2 years was able to not only lose 100 pounds, but was able to completely transform her life and essentially become an athlete. In her early 40s. I don't know. I ain't about to put her age out there. I'm just saying. She has at a time in her life when people will say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. She has completely transformed her life. And that result comes from us refining our process, coming up with tools, coming up with challenges. And I can't wait for you guys to hear the story because you get to hear like how involved she was and why she was able to get the outcome she got so that could be a blueprint for you. So I'm going to give Steve an opportunity to jump in, introduce himself. Steve, just probably some people watching that don't know who you are. I'm gonna take a chill pill real quick. I'm going to calm down.
Amen. Tag me in, man. Well, first of all, welcome everybody. For those of you that are watching on Instagram, what's up? For those of you who are watching on Facebook, it's always a pleasure to see you. And of course, we have our YouTube family. 15 minutes into the call, and I say my first words. So somebody said that they love how our guru is all fired up. He's real passionate, and I love that too, because me and Chris are very different in the way that we teach. We're very different in the way that we experience wellness. And I'm usually the passionate one. I'm usually the loud one. I'm usually the one that's all in. And it's really nice to see Chris get passionate. And I don't know, man. I think he had to get something off his chest today. So it's great, and I love it. And I love when he gets this way. So Chris, how much time are you giving me my time, or?
Hey man, do whatever the spirit tells you, man.
All right, I appreciate it. So there's a lot of good points that Chris made, and it's so interesting that a lot of the points that he made, I think, will segue very well into something that I wanted to talk about. Because we think about different holidays, and I think that for us, it may be easier for us to kind of not celebrate them. And a lot of that is because of our upbringing. So we didn't celebrate a lot of holidays when we were younger. There was a lot of kids, and there wasn't necessarily a ton of money. So our celebrations were usually small, and we usually only celebrated like the big four, right? Like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, maybe the big three, right? And I'm sure there's another one in there somewhere, but that's really what was our main holidays. So giving them up, or just saying, I'm not going to celebrate them, is actually a little easier, because naturally, the way that we grew up, we weren't, I'll say, indoctrinated, or we didn't go through them in a very deep way all the time. So why does that make sense? Because the things that we go through when we're young, they tend to then express themselves when we become older. We don't even question them. This is just what we do. Previously, when I was married, my ex-wife, she went through all the holidays. Every holiday was a big holiday for her. I mean, kids got Easter baskets. I honestly didn't even know what an Easter basket was. They were getting St. Patrick's Day baskets. I mean, Valentine's was big. I mean, you name it, it was a big deal. And then, of course, right, we didn't agree on that. And I'm just like, why does it matter so much? You talk about going into debt during Christmas. We were, every holiday, I was putting out. And I'm just like, bruh, it's Halloween. It's not that serious. No, they need 2 costumes, one for Mimi's house, one to go out with. And I'm just like, this is too much. We're literally stressing ourselves for costumes and making sure that there's cookies and making sure that they have candy and da-da-da. And once again, it was a fundamental difference. So there are certain things in our life that we will have growing up based upon the way that we were raised. They're going to be very beneficial to our wellness journey. There's certain habits, there's certain traits that we will pick up. And then there are ones that are going to be negative, or they're going to negatively impact us. These are things that happen subconsciously. These are things that happen and we don't even know why they're happening. We're not even aware of them. It's just what we do, right? And then we will then justify why we do these things, once again, based off of things that we were told as well. not because of our own research or not because we actually want or love something. It's just simply what we've always been told. This is just the way it is. Part of the reason that we are in our situations now is because we are very unaware. And in general, people are very unaware. And we have this programming, right, which comes to the subconscious that just constantly plays in the background. There was a message, a comment in the chat, and a lady was responding to somebody else, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what it was, but she basically said, I'm worried about not regaining, or I'm worried about maintaining my results. Not about losing, I'm worried about maintaining. And for those of you who were not at the retreat, you missed it. There was a lot, it was an amazing event. And probably about 2 months before, I randomly started getting multiple questions about my own story and my own journey. And how did I go through the process of losing a lot of the weight that I lost and then regaining that weight because of life, and then coming back and losing that weight again, and then more. And usually the answer goes something of the nature of, well, I still had a goal. I still had a process that I wanted to complete. I had not reached the pinnacle of where I felt that I was healthy. And there's more to that, but I'll spare you. And then as I continue to think about that, right? Because I do attempt to be very aware. I was like, how can I actually provide this answer in a different way that actually, number one, makes more sense, or makes even more sense? Let me say that. But then also allows someone to take that information and kind of do it on their own. And as I continued to dig, I was coming up blank. I was coming up empty. And then I had to really start researching. I had to start reading, and I had to start looking back in my library and see what made sense. And I came upon something. And I started to realize that, and we all know this, right? This isn't groundbreaking in this way. But in order to enact long-term change, or a change in your life, you have to change your mentality. And once again, that sentence is not groundbreaking. That should not surprise anybody that's here. But the question is, how? Right? Like, how do we actually do that? Because it sounds really good. And you've heard that a million times from all different kinds of outlets, but like, how do we actually go about that process? And I think that the number one thing that we need to start with is awareness. If you become aware that what you're doing is not necessarily beneficial to where you're going, and then you start to become aware of where this stems from, and then you become aware and you start digging and you find out why you do it, then now at this point, you can then begin to then actively make different changes. So what I have done is I put together a very brief presentation for you. And what I want to do is I want to give you a taste, a sampling of some of the things that people learned in the retreat. And as Chris touched on, and as you guys probably already know, right, losing this 30 pounds in 30 days through our R72 program, some of the things that you may not know if you've never been in a program, or maybe you've been in a challenge and you never actually did the actual reviewed the content, is that the content that I will be putting out for this challenge is going to be very specific, and it's going to be designed to help you make that mental shift from not just focusing on accomplishing the challenge and getting through it, but then also maintaining it but specifically focused around your mentality and bringing awareness to some of the things that you're doing. So I wanted to put together like I said, a very brief presentation that will give you a little a sampling of what you can expect during this time. So we're going to talk about the wellness timeline of change, right? The wellness timeline of change. What does this mean? So, what is the wellness timeline of change, right? So, during our journey from time to time, we decide to enact a long term change in our life until we reach our goal or make significant progress. So, this will be the timeline from the time that we decide to enact change until we have made significant progress or reached a goal. All of the ups and downs included in this period would be described as the wellness timeline as well. And of course, for every individual, this can vary greatly based upon their starting point. So, for example, my wellness timeline started a little over 7 years ago. For somebody else that maybe has been in shape their entire life, and maybe they're a little bit younger and now they just got out of college and they've just noticed that they've put on a little bit of weight. They got into a relationship and they start putting on that relationship weight. And they're like, ooh, I think I need to make a change. At that point, their wellness timeline begins. My goal through this process is to take my experience and the experience of all of the hundreds or thousands at this point of people that I have worked with in some way, and take your timeline, whatever that may be, and shrink it. That does not mean you will necessarily not experience certain things through this timeline, but the goal is to shrink it from 15, 20 years, 10 years, whatever it may be, 2 years, down to half or a third or whatever it may be. And the way that I do that is by bringing awareness to the thing, letting you know what you're going to experience, showing you the pitfalls, essentially giving you the GPS so that that way you know, hey, listen, there's a cop ahead. Let me slow down, right? Okay, there's a pitfall ahead. Let me look out for it and slow down. Now, during this timeline, there's a couple of key points that you are going to want to remember and pay attention to. You may want to write some of these down. I'm going to move through them fairly quickly, but you can screenshot on your phone, or of course, you can just make little notes. It's completely up to you, or come watch the replay, right? But during this timeline, you're going to experience motivation, or a time when you read something, or hear something, or even see something that inspires you to want to change. This can be a reel, this can be a YouTube video, this can be something that you read in a book. This can be a guy or a girl that's walking down the street and you're like, man, they look really good. I need to make a change in my life. There's something that you see or that your senses experience that spark motivation inside of you, right? Something else that you're going to experience during this timeline is you're going to research, right? Research is an action that you do that allows you to gain a deeper understanding of a particular subject matter. This can be done through Google searches, Wikipedia. If you got old Britannicas, right, you can go and read clinical trials. There's YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Anything that you do that is now looking into this particular subject would be considered research. Some is better than the other, but it's all research. Action. Very simply, the act of doing something about what you've learned. So you've gone through motivation and you've gone through research, and then now at some point you enact or create action, right? And these are no in any particular order, right? But these are things that are going to essentially you will experience, right? This section gets a little bit hits a little bit closer to home, I think, for people. The next one, right? Another key point during the timeline that you'll experience are results. During the process of action, you've achieved significant results that are visible to yourself and others. You tend to find a deep level of accomplishment during this period of time. And at some point, we've all experienced some level of results during our wellness timeline. The more you think about these, as I finish off, the more you think about these, the more you will find that you have gone through each and every single one of these probably multiple times, more times than you probably would want to count. the lullaby, which is, in my opinion, the most dangerous phase. The period of time in which action slows or stops and old habits creep back into your daily life. These habits are typically ingrained in self based upon your unconscious self identity. That's a very important part that we will be diving much more deeper in the challenge, but it's an extremely important part. And then the final is rebound, which I think you guys know what this means. A period of time when old habits have completely taken over, action has subsided, motivation is non-existent, you have moved past a full lullaby stage into a complete rebound. Now, of course, we can take look at weight loss, and it's easy to apply these principles or these key points. You can see this in yourself. But it's not just with weight loss. You can see this in all kinds of ways in your wellness journey, right? But let's go a little further. What does a typical timeline look like for most people? Once again, I think that this is something that is going to resonate with a lot of us because we've been here, right? Depending on where you are currently will determine where you fall on this timeline. So the first thing, number one, as we know, is motivation. After we get motivated, what do? We then start to research. You are on Instagram and then you see somebody post, I lost 60 pounds with fasting. I didn't have any loose skin. I look younger. I feel better. I'm in the best shape of my life. And you're like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Where can I learn more about this? And then you go on to Facebook or you go on to Google or YouTube and you start looking up fasting, right? And then you come across the AHA channel and you're like, oh my God, there's tons of information about fasting. And then now your research truly begins. You then start watching videos, you start reading comments, you start seeing the testimonies of people who are like, I lost weight, right? As you go through this process, eventually you get to the point where then you start the action phase, where you're like, I'm going to start doing something. I'm going to join one of these challenges. I'm going to try a 3-day fast on my own. And then now you go into action. As you were in the action phase, typically what people do is they then are also researching or they are looking for more information. You're like, oh, okay, well, I'm doing this process. How can I learn more about it while I'm doing it? It just makes sense, right? At the end of that process, you then get to the state where you are now in results. The results phase is fantastic. Tons of dopamine, right? You've accomplished something and you're just like, I feel great and everything is fine and dandy and you did what it is you set out to do. Let's say that you were going to be changing your diet for 30 days and you're going to focus on an alkaline diet or raw diet, or you're going to go keto or carnivore or fruitarian, whatever it is, you're going to try something for 30 days. As you go through that process, you're going to eventually get to a point where even if you don't complete it, you're going to have a level of result. That's fantastic, right? The problem is the next phase is coming up, which is the lullaby phase. What is the lullaby phase? A period of time in which action slows or stops and old habits creep back into your daily life. These habits are typically ingrained in the self based upon your unconscious self identity. What does that mean? The things that you have learned as a child, the things that you have used to cope as you've gone through life, whenever you have something that you use, let's say that you have to go through a breakup and then you feel really bad. And then all of a sudden you start eating Neapolitan ice cream with a big spoon on the couch and you're eating chips and watching romance Lifetime movies. And then all of a sudden you start feeling better. Your subconscious logs that as a way to deal with this emotional hurt or this pain. What will then happen is that you will then start to do that over and over. Anytime that you feel any type of pain that is even related to that initial hurt. What you then will do is you then will start to identify with this coping mechanism. And then now it is just who you are. So then what will happen is that anytime that someone tries to then say, oh, maybe you shouldn't eat so much ice cream, and you're just like, I love ice cream, right? Ice cream is just what I use when I don't feel good. Ice cream is great, right? You will then start looking for information or research that combats what they have said to find information that actually will solidify your point, saying it's not bad. And we know that as we do our research, we can find anything that then helps to solidify the way that we feel. So then all of that information that you then go through, all that research that you do will then solidify and say, no, what you are saying is correct. And you will ignore all of the other research. And then now you have an identity based upon eating ice cream simply because you were hurt. And any type of hurt that comes close to the original one, you always go to, well, I'm going to eat ice cream. That's just what I do. I'm not going to change that. That's who I am. That's who I am is one of the dangerous phrases that you can say when it comes to your identity. Because whenever we put the words I am in a sentence together, then it is our ego talking. It is our subconscious literally just talking. It is the defensive protective mechanism of your subconscious that you have created that is now defending your reality. It is a boundary. Anytime, this is important, anytime that you say I am, it is your subconscious or your ego speaking out. I was going to say speaking to you, not speaking to you. It's speaking to defend you. It's speaking to defend your space wherever you are. Ha. Right? So after the lullaby phase, and you go through that process where now things have slowed down, you then hit the dreaded rebound, right? So the rebound, of course, as we know, is a period of time when old habits have completely taken back over. There's no more action, there's no more motivation, and you've moved completely past full lullaby, and now you're in a complete rebound. Of course, as we can see on our timeline here, you see the arrow. When you hit a complete rebound, what will then happen is at some point in time, you will then go back up near the top of this, and then you will then go back through the cycle. It's just a constant hamster wheel, right? Now, depending on, of course, where you are in your journey and what you've worked on, maybe you don't go all the way to the top where motivation hits. Maybe you go back to research, right? You see something, you're like, maybe I need to start researching that again, right? Or you pick up a book randomly from your bookshelf, and then you start researching the topic again. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, you know what? I need to take action, right? I need to start doing more research. And then, of course, you get results. And then you go back into the lullaby phase and then rebound, right? So how do we get out of this? What is the missing link? Where are we not making the connection? Everything that we are doing, everything that we are working to do is almost essentially purely based around our physical actions, what we are doing. But what are we not focused on? The lullaby phase is the most dangerous space to be in because you become complacent. You then start to go back to your whatever your normal habits are, and these normal habits are what have got you to where you are in the first place. So while we are actively working on changing physically, we also need to be paying attention to what we are changing mentally. And it's so easy not to focus on that because we just simply are so focused on everything that we're doing physically. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you will slip back into that lullaby phase and then you will go into rebound. It's almost, it's like clockwork, right? So the lullaby essentially is subconscious programming. From the time we were born, our minds and bodies are collecting endless amounts of data in order to blend in and navigate our environments. That's literally what the subconscious is doing. You are learning so that way you can learn and blend in how other people live and act and do, or navigate our environment. So as children, of course, you have no coping skills. That's why babies cry all the time. This is why they throw tantrums and fits, because they don't know how to manage those troublesome times. They don't know how to manage those emotions, right? They don't have any coping skills. As an adult, you start to learn them. You start to learn them by watching your parents. You start to learn them by watching those around you, friends and family, right? As you get older, you hit 21 or 18 to 21, you start going to college and you're stressed out. And guess what you start learning? You start learning new coping mechanisms. Two of mine was I really learned how to drink well, and I learned chicken wings. Like when I went to college, I ate a lot of chicken wings, Taco Bell, and I drank. I was like, this party time, baby. I don't know. I grew up in a very strict Christian household, and then now all of a sudden I'm let off the loose, and I'm like, what's this world? Don't even know how to navigate it, right? Don't know how to navigate this world alone, where I can listen to the music I want, I can watch the shows I want, I can talk to girls, I can do all these things that I wasn't allowed to do. I don't know how to navigate it. So even as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, I'm getting older, I'm learning how to manage life. And these are the habits that we will slip back into, because they're what has been perpetuating this cycle our entire lives. The longer that you've been doing something, the harder it is to move out of them, right? So what do we need to do? We need to essentially, as best as possible, not simply just focus on outcome-based habits, right? Which outcome-based habits are not inherently bad, right? These are habits that we focus on changing with the sole intent that we are doing this to reach a specific goal or milestone. There's nothing wrong with that. But these are typically really well for accomplishing something in the short time. So for example, if you want to do the challenge, this is an outcome-based habit. It's a challenge, right? It's not something that you're going to do consistently for the rest of your life. It's a challenge, right? Just like doing any other kind of challenge, no matter what it is, going to school, it doesn't matter. Most of what we do are outcome-based, right? But so we need to then start changing the way that we think and start focusing on identity-based habits. And this is where things change, right? Habits are traits of a person or thing that naturally would exhibit certain behaviors. So if you look at a wild lion is going to do certain things naturally. It's their identity. If you jump into a zoo cage and you start fighting one of the gorillas, it's probably going to kill you, right? It's probably going to be aggressive. This is just naturally who they are. This is their identity, right? If you ask somebody who goes to the gym, let's say you ask somebody who's an athlete or they're a bodybuilder, and you look at them and you're just like, man, I bet you wake up 5 o'clock every day, have a protein shake, and eat 6 egg whites. And they're probably like, yeah, how'd you know? Well, I can just tell. Like, look at you, right? These are things that you can assume about certain types of people. You can assume their identity or their habits just looking at them, and not just physically, right? But if you ask somebody who is an accountant, they probably like numbers. They probably like math. If you look at a scientist, they probably enjoyed going through and experimenting and trying new things. And as a child, they were probably told to go outside and pick up dirt and look through it, right? There's certain things that that will become ingrained into us just simply based upon who we are and the things that we do. These are things that make up our identity. And these are the different habits that we need to adjust and change. Instead of focusing on changing little things just simply based upon us wanting to get to a certain point or lose 30 pounds, we need to change who we are by looking at our normal habits, the things that we always fall back on that we are unaware of. These are the things that we need to look at. And if we focus on those things, in addition to doing different challenges and putting ourselves out there, enacting action, then that is how you make something a lifestyle. Because everybody that starts fasting or that changes their diet or goes vegan or just starts eating more fruits and vegetables, they always say This is not a diet for me. This is a lifestyle. And don't get me wrong, it sounds really good. But how do you make that a lifestyle? And the way that you make it a lifestyle is simply from not focusing on simply the outcomes of doing this habit, but by simply embodying this new change as this is now just who I am. So, how was I able to go through my process and lose all that weight, gain it, and then lose it all plus more again? Is because I then started to disconnect with the old version of myself. I went as so far as to even completely open a new Facebook and change my Facebook name to no longer include a certain part of my name. And now I'm Stephen Michael. I don't even resonate with the name, my first and last name, or the name that I used to use before. I've changed my identity, and I now embody a completely different person. And now at that time, I did it subconsciously. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but that's what I did. And my goal through in this challenge is to, of course, help you lose weight, but not just lose weight, but then also begin to help break down some of those old identities that you may have or that you have now stuck with and start to challenge them and then impart a few different new ones. So during the challenge, right, you're going to receive expert coaching. I'm sure Chris will go through this a little more deeper, right? You're going to get weight loss. That's going to happen, but we're not necessarily focused on that, right? That's not what we really want to focus on. It's great. We want that. And yes, you're going to need to have action in order for you to achieve that. That's great. But if you want this to be something that actually propels you forward and it's not a revolving door, we have to change the way that we identify with our food, with our level of exercise, with the things that we consume as far as like not just food, but our friends and family, right? You're going to get wisdom to decrease your wellness timeline. So squash it down from 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 years and half it, right? Now, of course, you're going to have to enact that wisdom and put it in an action, but you're going to get the wisdom. You have that personal touch. If you want to reach out to one of the coaches, then you can do that. We will respond. And I can tell you, if you've been in any other type of challenge with any other type of group, I dare you to try to find a group where they have 5, 6, 7, 800, 900 participants, and you can reach out to one of the coaches without paying, and they're going to message you back. Good luck. And we have an established plan that works. This is not something that we just came up with off the whim. This is something that we've been doing for years. And there's a reason that we keep doing it, because it's successful. The only question is that, are you going to do it? Are you going to enact the plan? Are you going to then start focusing on not just simply doing this because you want one outcome and then you're done with it, but because you see that the change that needs to be made is something that needs to be changed for your entire life. And you go into this with the thought process of, it's not just 30 days. I'm learning a tool to put into my tool belt so I can use this for the rest of my life. And I promise you that as we go through this process, if you start thinking that way, you will have much better outcomes through the challenge, and then you will be able to maintain your results and build on them all the way through the end of the year out into the new year.
Bruh, it's funny because we don't even charge for this? Like this is literally just free game. So first of all, first things first, hit the like button for me, because the information we just provided, the motivation to make sure to get you guys locked in, and then boom, here comes Steve with this very concise lesson. I saw somebody asked earlier, please, somebody teach me how to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. The reason why we utilize weight loss as a dangling carrot is because we understand the frequency that most of you all are coming from. This is not a good thing. This is not a bad thing. It's just a reality thing. When you are sick, when you are unhealthy, when you are unhappy, There are, the physical, it's very easy to be attached to the physical. It's very easy for that to be your motivation. And so, of course, we're going to use that to draw you in. Does that mean that we're going to go off on a tangent and talk about things that don't matter to what is important to you? No, that's not what that means. But what it does mean is you have to be invested enough to take the time to listen to what may not seem like it's the answer you're looking for, and maybe write some things down and study it and kind of look it over and go back and forth and be like, oh, okay, this is starting to make sense. The reason why we give you way more than just simply how do you lose 30 pounds in 30 days, because I can tell you that in 5 minutes. But the reason we give you way more than that is so that you can maintain your weight loss when you get there. And it's so that you can understand that while you're losing this weight, it's not just about losing the weight, right? And we talk about this all the time. You could lose weight many different ways. There's very unhealthy ways to lose weight. It's not about just losing the weight. It's about losing the weight quickly, efficiently, maintaining your weight loss, and adjusting your mental state so that you can live and thrive in the new body that you have. There are so many elements of losing weight that some of you all are unfamiliar with because you just never have done it. If anybody who's been on the weight loss roller coaster, you may have experienced some of these elements as you go through this process. But I've had so many people tell me, you know what, Chris, I'm really excited. I lost 100 pounds, and these are people, they've done it in a year or less. But I'm really uncomfortable with my new body. I'm uncomfortable with the attention I'm getting. I'm uncomfortable with the stares. I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm uncomfortable with that. Why? Because during that time when they were losing the weight, they didn't know, or they weren't on a path of also helping to balance their mentality as they went through it. So the lecture that Stephen just gave you is a snippet of how you can begin the process of balancing your mentality as you lose the weight. And it's okay if weight for you is the most important thing. I'm about to tell y'all how to lose the 30 pounds in 30 days. It's not really anything special or great, but we're going to break it down because I had a conversation earlier this week with someone who said, Chris, your titles be misleading. And I'm like, I don't have any misleading titles. If I put something in my title, we talk about that thing in the title. Now, whether you get it or whether you stay long enough to hear it, that's something different. I can't do nothing about that. But here's what we're talking about. In order to lose, as many ways you could do it. You can lose 30 pounds in 30 days with a 30-day fast. Ta-da! There's your answer. Super simple, right? If you do a 30-day water fast, you're going to lose 30 pounds. And you could actually lose more. That is an average. You could lose more. So that's the simple answer to your question. How do you lose 30 pounds in 30 days? A 30-day water fast is how you do it. It'll work virtually every time. Now, it's a little bit more nuanced than that, right? Because you may have never done a water fast before. So jumping off and just doing a 30-day water fast might not make sense. You may be at a place in your frequency where you're like, wait, Chris, how can I go that many days without eating food? I thought if we went 10 days without food, we'd die, right? So now you might be at a place where you need a little bit more education on what that actually means, how to do that successfully. I saw another comment in the chat. Hold on real quick. This one really caught my attention. I can't focus for 30 days. I can't focus for 30 days. First of all, got to change our language, right? We just have to. I understand that you may feel that is the truth. And as long as you think that, it will be the truth. But the first thing we have to do is change our language. If you don't think that you can focus for 30 days, that's fine. It's good to be aware of our strengths and our weaknesses. Let's change the language to, I need to learn how I can focus for 30 days. I need to learn how to stay focused for 30 days. Don't hit me with the negative. Don't hit me with the I can't do it. Change your perspective, change your energy. Let's learn how we can focus for 30 days. Because if you can learn to focus for 10 days, you can learn to focus for 15 days. If you can focus for 15 days, you can focus for 20 days, right? So let's not look at the 30 days as we got to, folks, stay locked in perfect with no variance in our schedule or no obstacles, and we got to do it perfect for 30 days. No, let's just do 1 day perfect, right? Like, how do you get to 30 days of focus? You focus for 1 day. After you focus for 1 day, you unpack that day. You unpack what did you do good, what did you do wrong, where could you have done better? And then on day 2, you improve and you focus for 2 days now. And so on and so forth. And you build. It's all about taking baby steps. And if you lose focus on day 5, that's not the end of the world. You were just focused for the past 4 days. Get back on the horse and continue like you never got off. On day 6, go back to what you learned on day 1 through 4 and build on the quote unquote failure of day 5. And then you focus on day 6 and then day 10 and then day 15. And that's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you build muscle. That's how you mature. That's just the way things work. Okay? Nobody starts anything being 100% expert on it. So what we want to do with this challenge, the R72 challenge, is we want to teach you how you can lose 30 pounds in 30 days successfully. And that might take a little bit more time. One lesson today was 45 minutes. So it might take a little bit more time to learn how to do this successfully and how to look. The biggest issue with the weight loss journey, I'll say holistically, it's the fact that you'll lose 10, 20, 30 pounds and you'll gain it all back. It's the wellness roller coaster. That's the problem. So yeah, I could teach. Hey, we've had people. I'll be like, look, you can fast for 30 days. You'll lose 30 pounds. And they go out and they do it. They take their pictures. They look great. And then boom, life smacks them like a Mack truck. And now, not only do they lose all the benefit of the 30 pounds they lost, but they gain an extra 10, 15 pounds on top of the 30 pounds that they gained. Okay? So I don't like to see that. I don't want to see that. I want to see you all be efficient, lose the weight, challenge your mentality as you go through the process. Why not? You're already locked in. You already have intention and attention on your health and wellness. So you're spending all of this resource towards yourself right now, whether it's 30 days or 90 days. Why not do 2 things at once? We can walk and chew gum. You can work on your physical and your mental at the same time, but you got to also know to do it, right? Like, and this is where the coaching, this is where the guidance comes into play. And this is where, the testimonials and stuff that we get. Steve, you mentioned earlier that we've been doing this for a while. We know what we're doing. Do you know why we have been doing this so long? AHA is a 7-year-old online wellness brand. We are a highly successful business that has a tremendous amount of visibility in the modern age, and we make pretty extravagant claims. Why do you think year in and year out we're able to continue to do that? Why haven't we got shut down? Why don't we have comments? Why aren't there comments in the chat right now talking about this is some bull, that don't work, they're lying, I joined the challenge, it didn't work? You don't see it. You don't see it in our live chat. You don't see it under our videos. We don't get emails. We don't get reported. The reason why is because we know what we're doing. We get outcomes, and people who lock in, they get what we tell them. And if you don't get it, it's either a couple things. Either number one, you're not applying yourself, which is the number one reason. Okay. The 95% of people that go through a challenge, go through a course or anything that we provide, and they don't get the intended outcome or something close to it, it's because they didn't apply themselves or they gave up or whatever. That's the biggest reason. So you guys got to take personal accountability on that piece. The other piece is not asking questions, not using the resources. Everyone's not going to have the same experience. So that means that if you're going through the challenge and you're not getting the intended outcome, and the only reason you know the intended outcome is because you're looking at the literature, you're studying the course material, you're engaging in the content, so you still meet the first requirement of being an active participant, right? So you're like, man, I'm not getting the outcomes I'm supposed to get. The next step is to ask a question. Steve said, we challenge you to go out and find another wellness community, fasting group, whatever, that's serving 500 to 1,000 people with their challenges. And those people are able to reach out to the coaching staff and get a result in a reasonable amount of time.
For free.
Okay, no additional cost. I don't know how we can make it any easier. It's like most of you all who are unsuccessful, it's because you're not applying yourself. Okay, so what the motivation is to be able to, number one, highlight that. Like, we got to take accountability. We are not applying ourselves. Okay, but then we want to encourage you to use the tools we have available. And we have some incredible tools. I'm about to shift gears real quick. Okay, now I know there's some people that are fired up. I already saw some people talking about they already signed up to join the challenge, right? So I love that. Shout out to the super chat. You're preaching. This was Stephen. This was for you. You're preaching. Thank you. Great commentary. Okay. One of the things that sets us apart from other influencers, I'll say, because this is more of an influencer thing. Some of you all might not know how big the AHA community is, especially if you're only engaging on YouTube or if you're only engaging on Facebook. If you're just on one of our platforms, you don't know how big the community is. Someone said, you guys do retreats? Yeah, we do retreats. We do yearly retreats. We've had 3 retreats. We've had 2 events. And then the coaches also do their own events and speaking engagements and things of that nature. And we've got another retreat coming up. We do them every year. Okay. We have over 250,000 followers, however you want to kind of call it. You know, I like to look at it as a community, as a family. But AHA, we're not the biggest brand out there, but we are a very sizable brand. We have a lot of influence. And a lot of times that influence will go to people's head. And I get emails literally every day. I just looked at an email earlier, not even 2 hours ago, of someone trying to get me to sell their product, to use their service or whatever. And that's fine. That's just the world we're in. If you guys don't even see 1/1000th of the offerings I get, and I'm gonna tell you something. I've had some pretty tantalizing offers. You know, people with vitamin companies and doctors that you know, well-known doctors who are starting different things, different avenues. I've had a lot of opportunities I've turned down. The reason I say this is because when we offer a tool to you all through our platform, it is not to make money. Now, let me be clear. We need to make money, okay? So let's not conflate these two statements. Yes, we are a business. Yes, we have a staff. Yes, we have a team. We need to make money. But when we offer a product or a service, it is not with the sole intention to make money, meaning there is integrity behind everything that we promote you all. We take our influence very seriously. So when there's a product that we put out there for you all to consume, it's not because, oh, this product is going to make us a lot of money. It is because this product is going to be beneficial to you. And we could probably make some money from it. So it's a balance there. But the priority is, what are you going to get from it first and foremost? So recently, we introduced a new product. It is a light therapy patch, okay? And we probably started talking about this thing back in August. Since August, when we introduced it to our community, I have had hundreds of testimonials, okay? Hundreds. it speaks to two things. Number one, the product works. And number two, the community likes it because they're using it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have those testimonials. There wouldn't be enough people using it, because everybody who uses it and sees the benefit doesn't tell me, hey, Chris, I used it, I loved it for this reason. So it's only a percentage of people. Now, during that time, we had a young lady who was scheduled for shoulder surgery. I don't remember exactly what was wrong with their shoulder, but we do understand that if the doctors are saying you need surgery, you've got some damage that the body typically wouldn't heal by itself. Okay. Usually when they're saying you need surgery, it's because, look, this is not going to fix until we go in and we fix it. We got to put a bolt in there. We got to do something. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Knee replacement, hip replacement. You know what I'm talking about. She was scheduled for shoulder surgery. She started using the light therapy patch. I think it was 1 month. She goes back and gets imaging done by her doctor, I think as a preliminary before they do the surgery. The tear, the rip, whatever was going on, gone. The swelling, the inflammation, gone. Doctor canceled the surgery. Said, I don't know what's going on here. We don't need the surgery anymore. Okay? One of the coaches, Coach Mel, he had a tear in his knee, in the cartilage of his knee. There was a tear. Once again, it's a surgery thing. It's not typical. You're not about to heal that. That's not normal. The doctors told him, hey, you need surgery. Got the imaging done and everything. Got him on the light therapy patches within maybe about a month and a half, because, it would have been faster, but he wasn't using them right. It's fine. Whatever. We're not going to get into that. About a month and a half, this man has started using a walking stick. He was headed towards having to use a cane because the limp was getting so bad. A month and a half in, no more walking stick. So here's the thing that infuriates me. I put information out there about something that we're using. Now, before I ever even told the community about these light therapy patches, I personally used them for months before I told anybody. Then I had the coaching staff use it. Okay. So to make sure that what we're about to promote to you all is going to make sense, it's going to work, it's going to be beneficial. Now we're putting the information out there, and we have people talking about, oh, y'all just trying to make money. Oh, that doesn't work. Da 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 da. This is, and it's like, bruh, we've been around for the past 7 years. When have we ever done anything to just take advantage of y'all and make money? We're not grifters. There's nothing in our bio that says AHA, Chris James, founder, author, wellness coach, grifter. Okay? It's not there. This is the whole reason why we built this community is so that you guys can come get good, solid information about your health and wellness, accelerate your results, skip the pitfalls. Okay, we don't want you hitting the pitfalls. We want you to have a smooth transaction. So then what do? We partnered with Sasha. Sasha is a colleague of mine. She's come on the show numerous times. She's spoken at our events. She is a cancer survivor. And not just any old cancer survivor. When she turned her life around, when she turned her health around, she was at a point where she was going to be admitted to hospice. Or she was already in palliative care. It was one of the two. Either she was on her way or she was already in it. I don't really remember. But she was at that point. That means we have exhausted all of our options. We have nothing left to do for you except keep you comfortable as you transition. A man saw her at one of her grandfather's events. Her grandfather was getting an award, and a man saw her carrying around all of this equipment, all this medical equipment, and he stopped her and he said, I can help you. Okay. Long story short, because she didn't believe him, she blew him off. Long story short, she ended up getting with this guy and reversed her illness in 90 days. Why was she able to do it? Because someone who knew something that she didn't was able to provide information, tools, therapies, guidance to help her get from A to B quickly, efficiently. What do you think that's worth to her? She was going to die. What do you think it was worth to her for that man to be like, I can help you? And in 90 days, he gave her a plan that she followed to the T and was able to turn her in complete health around in 90 days. She was going to die. So when we have a tool, when we have a therapy, when we have a challenge, when we have a course, when we have a class, none of this is done to make money. None of this is done because we just want to do busy work and keep you guys busy and make it feel all warm and fuzzy. It's because it's going to improve on what we've already created. That is the primary focus. Yeah, we're going to make some money off of it, 100%. And what is it worth to you, by the way, anyway? How much is your diabetes medication? Not only how much is your diabetes medication, how much is the medication you have to take because of your diabetes medication? What is it worth to regain your autonomy? To be able to go and travel out of the country without having to worry about, oh, I don't have my pills, or oh, I forgot this, or oh, I forgot that. Oh, I can't do my shot. What is that worth to you? So we have a challenge that's starting October 20th. It is $98. What you guys get is you get a, I think it's like 26 hours of core content. These are videos that we've put together ahead of time. They're pre-recorded. It's learn at your own pace. You guys can go through and you can start understanding the skills you need to develop in order to be successful. Okay? You get a full PDF guide for those who like to learn in a different way, for those who like to skip ahead, for those who like to take notes, for those who need something tangible. You have a PDF guide. You can print it off. We give you guys that. You also get several live streams from the coaches. So clearly this is a live stream. You know, typically I'm a little bit more calm and relaxed on our coaching calls when we do our challenges, a little bit more concise, maybe not as passionate, okay? But the point is you get an opportunity to interact. You guys got to chat. You've already been chatting. You can put questions in the chat. We'll answer questions in real time. We also offer you guys a form. You could submit the form. Some of you are in different countries. Sometimes the timing's not going to work out. It's not going to make sense. We submit a form with your question. We will read your question. We'll read your question. We'll answer your question. You can come back later on that day or the next day, watch the replay, get the content. Also, every single video is recorded. You're never going to miss anything, okay? You guys can be 100% accountable for what you know and what you don't know. This ain't our first rodeo. So we give you all the tools that you need to be successful. We make sure that you have your replays available. We make sure you have your guides. And then on top of that, you get invited to our secret membership area within AHA communities where you get to interact with the hundreds of other people who have probably done this challenge before. Because one other thing that I don't really talk about as much, but I think is a great highlight, is that most of the people in our challenge are return customers. Now, you tell me what that means. I don't know. You tell me what that means. If the majority of the people in our challenges are return customers, you can make your own decision on what you think that means. Maybe it means that we've got something that works, that people trust, that people are benefiting from. I don't know. Either that or we're putting crack in something. I don't know. Because, you know, the Krispy Kreme donuts, yeah, people definitely was in line to get those, and, you know, it wasn't benefiting them. And I swear there was crack in those things. Stephanie B, thank you. Appreciate that super chat. 98 bucks. Now, the light therapy patches. I wanted to make sure that you guys had an opportunity to learn about this technology and utilize it. What we're doing is we did it in our last challenge, was the 5-2 fasting challenge. We started using the light therapy patch in conjunction with our fasting. Why? Because the light therapy patch, one of the things you guys probably might not know about fasting is it increases stem cell production. So the reason why when we very first started fasting, like our old content, you know, like John, you know, Coach Johnny, for example, I said, yo, John, you look 10 years younger than you did before you started this process. And at first we were like, yeah, that's probably just, you know, it's probably not legitimate, right? It's just one of them things. You'd be like, man, you look younger. And then Steven did it. And then my sister, Queen Bonnie, did it. And then Justin did it. And then, just Taryn, and so many people. And we're like, everybody who's fasting the way we're fasting, they look younger. Comes to find out, when you start fasting, water fasting, the body increases stem cell production. Okay. That's the reason why we see the rapid healing. That's the reason why we see the restoration. Okay. Sometimes you might have an ailment that you've been dealing with for X amount of time, years, whatever, and you fast and it goes away. That's the reason why we see the skin soften, right? That's why we see the youthfulness come out, stem cell production. But what this patch does is it helps to accelerate and boost stem cell production. It stimulates the body to increase stem cell production through a copper peptide called GHK, Steve? GHKCU. So I got the bright idea. I said, well, what if we utilize the patches while we do our fasting? So now you have the natural increased stem cell production that you get from the fast, what we've all seen the benefits from. In addition to that, you have a light therapy patch, a non-transdermal light therapy patch. Nothing's going in. All it does is stimulate your own natural light. And that light tells the body to do something. And in this case, increase stem cell production. So now we're getting less detox symptoms. We are having rapid inflammation reduction. We are getting accelerated healing faster than we would just with fasting, because when we combine the two, you're 10xing your results. Now imagine me. I'm studying, I'm going through this, I'm learning, I'm experimenting, and then I present this to the community, and then you have people out there that'll be like, dang, Chris, you're really promoting this? You're really trying to abuse this? You're really trying to, like, how frustrating would that be? My intentions are as pure as they can be. There's as pure as it gets. The brand speaks for itself. I want you all to have the opportunity to be able to experience the new technology and the new things that we are promoting. So here's what I did. I included the pay for option. And I personally, me and the coaches, we personally purchased sleeves of the light therapy patches for you all to be able to use during this fast. We invested our money. We purchased them so that we can offer them to you guys in a package deal when you get the challenge. So that's another option. And there's a pay for option available. So if the price is a little bit too much, use the pay for option. You can pay it. You pay in 4. You break the payment into 4 different payments over the course of 8 weeks. Okay. So the challenge starts October 20th. Sign up today. Sign up today. Let's get back on track for the year. Let's get ready to go into the next year stronger than we did this year. We don't want to go into this year, 2025, the way we went into 2024. We want to improve. Every day, you want to have a small improvement in your character, in your wellness, in your finances, wherever. Okay. So when we go into 2025, we want to be stepping on a new plateau. We don't want to be where we were last year. And you still have time to make that change. That's all I'm saying. All right. I lost 30 pounds. Let's see. Hold on. I lost 30 pounds in 40 days, 5 days water, then OMAD. If I did only water for 30 pounds, I would have lost 30 days. Right. So I appreciate the confirmation. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for a very long, like the brand is 7 years old, but I personally started fasting. We're on a decade now. Okay. Now, some of you all talk, I've been fasting for 20 years. I've been fasting for 30 years. So it's saying that I've been fasting for a decade. That may not sound like a much to you all, But the difference is for some is that I made it my business. I made fasting my business. I approached it with a level of experimentation that a lot of people don't. And that's why I'm able to teach it the way I teach it. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you guys are fired up to join the challenge. I did put the link in the chat. Okay. Remember, it's $98 for the basic registration. We have 2 other options that come with products. None of the products are fluff, y'all. They're all designed to do something to benefit you. If you need more clarity on which option makes the most sense for you, reach out. Okay. Support at ahealthyalternative.org. Or if you want, join AHA communities. Join AHA communities. Create a post. There are literally thousands of people in there who are on the same journey. You know, people that have used different products, different therapies, done different challenges. There's no censorship in our group. Go ask them. If you're unfamiliar, if you don't know, if this sounds fantastical, I mean, obviously the chat is supporting me. Brother Wayne just told you he lost 30 pounds in 40 days. That's with OMAD and eating. Now, here's the key. And the reason why I'm saying that this challenge is going to produce 30 pounds in 30 days. The reason why is because we have learned how to accelerate and improve our efficiency by doing these challenges over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. So we're able to get more out of our fasting experiences in a shorter period of time because we've learned how to be more efficient. For any of you all who were or are in Sasha's classes, you know what I'm talking about. Sasha, we just did a live stream maybe 2 weeks ago. And one of the things Sasha talked about is how she had a client who she had done fasting before, was very familiar with it, started utilizing the information Sasha was teaching and was able to mitigate her detox symptoms. Her fast became seamless. It was easy, we'll say. Okay. So we have tools, therapies, and different orders of operation to help you guys have a more seamless experience. That way, the barrier to success is a little bit lower. And I'll call it cheating. But in the game of life, cheating is fair, bro. Everything is fair in the game of life. You're allowed to cheat in the game of life. You're allowed to cut across the field in order to get to your goal. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're not harming yourself or others, there's nothing wrong with it. So let's not make this hard on ourselves, okay? Let's get with the community that understands the struggles before you even have them and maybe can teach you how to navigate it more seamlessly. I think that's everything, Steve.
Hey man, I think this is the first live where you had the main character energy.
I don't know if that was the first time. That's bold.
Maybe the first in a while. I'm not even trying to I'm not trying to take away from anything you said or anything you brought today. Make sure that if you guys are coming in late, because I know that there's a lot of people that have been trickling in, make sure that you go to the beginning of this. There's an entire lesson that was taught in the beginning of this call, so you understand not only all of the benefits that you'll get from the challenge, but also the content that you can expect. And that's just me. You have other coaches that will be doing additional things as well. I would say in closing, at the end of the day, everything that we do is one step closer to a result. And I think that while that is beneficial, if we reframed this and started looking at it from doing something one step at a time, not to get to a certain result, but doing something to completely change the person that you are, I think that you will find that while doing the exact same thing, if you just mentally reframe it differently, you will have a much easier time accomplishing the goals that you set out for yourself. And I think that you're going to hear a lot of that in the next coming months, because I know for me, it's literally all I can think about, and of course I want to share that with you all. So make sure that you guys join, because I know that you're tired of being on the wheel, and if you want to get off of it, intermittently going through little things here and there, it's not going to get you there. You have to make a change to the way that you think and the way that you see yourself. If you don't do that, you will continue down the same path. But if you want to get off that roller coaster, you have to change your mindset, and you have to change the way that you are identifying with certain foods. And also, that also means being open to trying new things and trusting us. And I think that at this point, we've earned that from a lot of our community members. And we're not going to bring you anything that's just nonsense. Interestingly enough, and I'll finish with this, the only thing that we've ever really brought to our community in over 7 years has been two things, other than AHA branded products: Lightwave and Root. And the one primary reason that we are comfortable talking about them is because they work. Plain and simple. So we're never going to bring something to our community that's nonsense. There's a reason that Chris, all the sponsors, all the little things that people offer him, he doesn't do. You don't see all these sponsors, videos, and ads in his stuff. There's a reason. And he loses money because of that. But it's because we don't focus on that, right? Our identity behind AHA is not business first, make money first. It is focused around spreading wellness information and helping people get outcomes, helping them become better. And because we do that, we do have this very loyal following. It's because AHA's identity is not based around just getting into people's pockets, but it is based around helping people and helping them change their lives and get the outcomes that they're looking for. See how I did that just there? So we need to change your identity and your focus from just trying to get a certain number to now making changes so that these things become natural habits in your life. And that's going to take a little bit of work, but it is work that our coaches have done, and we are going to continue to share.
You guys want to learn more about the light therapy patches? I implore you, join AHA Communities. We have a special group specifically talking about the light therapy patches. Join, okay? We're not going to talk about them in depth tonight, but we have done some live streams and things of that nature. I just I had to bring it up because it's an option at checkout for the challenge. And I want you all to be aware of it. It is a great opportunity. So I just needed to put that out there. But if you guys want to learn more, I put the link in the chat for it's literally a www. You got to put the www, something wrong with it. www.ahacommunities.com. Come join us. Join the light therapy group. You'll learn all about it. You'll see the testimonials. It's incredible. Let's see, there was a couple more. I thought this was funny, Rachel. He must be on the Root Brand Zero In. Chris was a pit bull the entire video. Actually, I'm on the patches. That's the funny part. But I did mention that Zero In and this particular light therapy patch, when I start doing my live streams, they give me a similar vibe. So that's funny that you picked up on that. Do you accept payment plans? Yes, we do. It's a pay for, okay? So it's a 4-pay, and it's over the course of 8 weeks. That's the offering for the payment plan. Can we do the program while breastfeeding? This is where AHA separates themselves. This is the reason why we are who we are. Any other company, brand, wellness community is going to tell you no, absolutely not. You do not breastfeed and you fast, do a fasting challenge or whatever. I'm going to tell you the truth. The truth is you can do it with precaution. Okay. But I can tell you that I don't got a license to lose. It's the benefit of me not being a licensed professional. Licensed professionals have their tongues tied. There's certain things they can and cannot say. I don't have that. It's one of the reasons why I never got credentials. So, yes, you can do it. However, comma, you need to, if you're going to join, make sure that you make an effort to reach out to us so we can make sure to give you some specialized information to help you optimize your experience, because we have experience with breastfeeding mothers. We have experience there. We have plenty of experience there. So we know what we're doing. Most people say no, and they won't touch it. So now you have a breastfeeding mother who can't get help and support because everybody just tells you, no, don't do that. That's dangerous. That's bad. Okay? No, you can do it, but you got to know how to do it safely. There's a right and a wrong way to do it. I'm just making sure I'm missing no. Oh, I think there was one. Okay, wait, got that one. Steve, you told him to hit the like button?
Yeah, man. Hit the like button, man.
Hey,
Hit
man,
that
we've been
like
on here
button.
too long, man.
Wrap them up. They ain't gonna be
That's
able to
it,
watch
man.
the replay.
Hey, listen, watch the replay. I appreciate y'all. I know that this was the right thing for the right people. If you're ready to make a change, if you want to go into 2025 strong, this is your opportunity. We have a tremendous amount of positive energy moving towards that. Hop on the train, take advantage of it. Don't make excuses. Now is the time. When is the time for change? It's always now. It's always today. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the inside. I want you to keep an open mind. We have a lot of new things coming. We've got a lot of new information coming. You're not going to get the information prepackaged in that little cute box that you expect, but it is coming. Okay? You just got to know it's coming, and you got to be willing to do the work. And that's it, man. I ain't got no more talking. Have a good night, everybody.